Welcome back, everyone. 10th episode of our ISO tutorial series. And today we will have a night follow a path. So where we left off last time is that we added walking animations and the units were walking in place. So they're not going anywhere at this time. So let's change that. First, I want to make sure that by default they just use the idle animation. Let's create a new function that creates a follow path animation for an entity, and we pass in an entity and we get back an SK action. The SK action will be a set of movement actions. This is an array of SK actions, and at the end we return a sequence of these movement actions. So the plan is this. We will let's quickly show it. So let's say this is our path. Following the path will be a set of animation steps going from one tile to the next. So we build up the entire animation from single steps to each subsequent tile. And these individual steps we will store in this movement actions array. We also need to define how long each step takes. So let's take a number. You can make it faster or slower as you want. And then what we do is we go over each coordinate in the path, and we need to get an animation for our entity, and we need to get the walking animation. We also need to get a screen coordinate. We convert a world to screen for the coordinate we got in the path. The path contains a vector 2Ds, so the coordinate is a vector 2D. Convert world to screen expects a vector 3D, so we use the map to convert the 2D coordinates to the 3D coordinates, including its elevation. And we need to have a direction. We need to pass in the rotation of our map, so we get the correct sprite back. Okay, so we have an animation and we have a screen coordinates. We create a movement action because the animation itself is just displaying the animation. It's not moving. We call it an SK action, move, and we move to this screen coordinate over time duration. And then we add to our movement actions a new SK action, but this time of a group that executes both the animation and the movement action in parallel. And let's see, our screen coordinates should be created as a CG point. So we have our screen position is a CG point. Screen coordinate got x, y, and then we use this one. Okay, so we get back an animation, an action that contains movement animations. Let's see if we can use it. Let's go over where we render our entities, and instead of always using this one, what we'll do is we'll check if the path is empty, and if this one is false, then we use, otherwise we use this one. So if it's not empty, then we'll use the walking animation, otherwise we use the idle animation. So let's make sure we do a sprite run and create follow path animation for our entity. Now we should be careful that the get animation for entity returns an entity that repeats forever, meaning that it would repeat also all these ones forever, and that's not what we want. So what we'll do is we'll just return the animation here and make sure that if we're idling, then we do repeat forever, and then pass in the idle animation. Also, I want to make sure that we only control one of the knights. So for now, we'll quickly do a check that the entity here is the same as the first entity in the array. So this way we don't try and control them all. And let's see how far we can get with just this. So I think this should be the first knight at the 0 position. Let's see if we can get it to walk. Well, it walks and it moves. And it's a bit weird. So it looks like it's floating instead of correctly moving right. And the reason for that is we're not correcting for the zPosition. So we don't just need to play an animation and perform a movement action. We also need an action to set the zPosition correctly. So we need to calculate a new zPosition. And we can use our roll to zPoint position function for that. We use our map convert to 3D for our coordinates. We have the rotation direction, and now we have a new zPosition. And now we need an action that sets this zPosition correctly. We can use a custom action to do that with a duration of duration, and this takes in a closure. And the closure takes in a node and a time. But all we need is to set the node zPosition to the new zPosition. And we need to make sure that this one too is set as part of the group. So I think if we do this, it will look a bit better. So let's try again. Let's move our knight around. It's still not correct. So it looks like it's still clipping through these through the other tiles. Also, if we go and let's say put it here, we see that other tiles overlap it. And the reason for that is that this is a typical issue in isometric games when you use just sprites and some form of ordering to draw them. If sides have very different heights, it's very easy for them to start overlapping because they are closer or further away due to sorting. The one way of solving this is, well, it's not really solving it, but what can help is look at, okay, so our knight is standing on the bottom one, and the middle point of the knight is around the to height part. So let's simply add to the zPosition. So basically we're pushing the knight up, at least when it comes to zPosition, so it looks a bit better. This too is by no means perfect and will have issues, but at least it's already a lot better than what we had before. So basically, we're just offsetting the night zPosition a bit so it works a bit better. Notice that we can still also look around. We can still turn around, and each time the knight will start walking again. So that's a bit much. Very quickly, let's also make sure that we do this. When we first set the zPosition for an entity, so we do this consistently for the other ones as well. Okay, so now our knight can walk around on our map. However, let's say we are looking in. Let's say we're going backwards. It's like he's moonwalking back because he keeps facing in the same direction. What we should have is the knight change direction as he moves along. So this he's moving forward, but here we would want him to turn around and look into that direction. That is something we're going to fix next time. So when we add facing the correct direction to this, but at least we already got him following around. Also, we can only currently control one knight, but that's also something we're going to fix in a later episode. But for now, this should be okay. Thanks for watching and have a good day.